Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Attention. Everybody stop what you're doing. It's time for The Unwritten Rule, a Mizzou sports podcast brought to you by the Believe Network, alongside Payton Haverman and Kenny Van Doren. Here is your host, Jack Knowlton.
All right, welcome back to The Unwritten Rule. Today is Monday, March 31st, final March show of 2025. Just Payton and I on this show again. Jack is officially done with college basketball coverage for the year. Well, he does have his transfer portal coming up, but Alabama got bounced in the Elite Eight, so he will be back with us soon. But just Payton and I for this show. And we're going to stick in the transfer portal coverage, just looking at some more names that have been linked. You've seen all those long lists on Twitter. Guys just kind of continue to pump out, these agencies continue to pump out these lists of interest for their clients. And I'll run through a couple of them, Payton, and then you kind of will do the same thing as last time. You point out maybe two or three that you really want to talk about. But Chris Bell from Syracuse, a junior forward. Nick Graves, a junior guard. When I say the year, that is from this past season. At Charlotte, Darian Ford, who was a junior guard at Arkansas State. Jalen Jackson, junior guard from Purdue Fort Wayne. Sebastian Mack, a sophomore guard from UCLA. Gumari Peterson, who we talked about on a recent show. He's a senior guard at East Tennessee State. Markeel Sutton, senior forward from Omaha, and Jalen Washington, a junior forward from North Carolina. Payton, just right off the bat, I mean, which is the first guy you want to kind of jump in on?
I think the one that we kind of have to touch on first, I'd say, is Peterson, just because he's been linked to Missouri for like a while now. Seems like the interest is still there. Southern Conference Player of the Year this past year. Teammates of former Missouri Tiger Kurt Lewis, who is also in the portal. So maybe a return is in the works there.
Former teammates at two different spots too. They play together at Johnny Logan as well.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. So maybe it's like an upgraded it's like Kurt Lewis. They sent him to get developed for a year, and now he's coming back, beefed up. Peterson. I mean, we kind of touched on him before. The shooting splits look great. There's a lot of good teams after him. So it would be a pretty good get. That would be kind of one of those. It feels like every year Missouri is able to pull in like one mid-major guy that kind of pops off the page. So to varying degrees of success, I'd say. But Peterson, also the defensive metrics just on Torvik look okay. So definitely one I would be intrigued by. Another name that would be really interesting is Washington. I think Jalen Washington, who just looking, they both went to West Side High School in Gary, Indiana. Washington, coming off his junior year at UNC, at one point in time was a 5-star prospect. He dropped to 4 because of an ACL injury. He started 16 games this past year at UNC. You're never going to hear me complain about getting guys like that that have started for these blue blood types. Yes, UNC was not the best it wasn't vintage UNC this year, but 6'10", probably wouldn't be like the straight up perfect center you kind of want, but I do think there's some intrigue there. 59% on his field goals, not much of a 3-point shooter, which is fine, I think. Definitely a decent shot blocker as well. On Torvik, just has pretty decent shot blocking numbers, pretty decent rebounding rate, pretty good around the rim, at least according to the numbers. I did ask a UNC fan that I follow on X, the everything happens on X, what they thought of Washington. They think Washington is very intriguing. He just kind of, after he tore his ACL, a lot of people thought he should have maybe just redshirted a year and gotten fully healthy. He started to get his legs a little more under him, according to this UNC fan that I talked to, but definitely was a bit of a mixed bag from what I took away from the conversation.
Missouri has 3 roster spots to fill. One of those spots, that 4th spot, was filled by a forward in Porter. But Payton, when you get a guy like Jalen Washington into that mix, like if he was one of those 3 guys, in your mind, are you not filling any of those other 2 spots with the big man? Is that kind of like the last big man you would want to see on this roster?
I think you probably can't go with another big after that, because I still think you need kind of like one of those. I think you need like a Tony Perkins type, almost like just a true like bigger guard that can maybe ISO up a bit, maybe be like a little bit of a capable of scoring at all 3 levels. Not like elite at any of them, but just able to like bully their way. That's Mac being a name that got connected to Mizzou, I think kind of would be similar to that role. Sebastian Mack, he was 2 years at UCLA, started 30 games his freshman year, only 1 this past year, came off the bench. But I mean, 3-point numbers aren't fantastic, just 31% this past year, 42% from the field. But I mean, 6'3", 200, kind of bigger. It's someone that intrigues me at the very least. And I think you still absolutely need someone that can go out and just drain like a high level amount, like a high amount of threes a game. I think just the way this Missouri team plays, it's shown they really, really need to have good 3-point shooting, or they're just not going to be a good team. So maybe that's Peterson. I think Peterson's probably since he's a name we've heard forever, I think he's probably one of the priority targets for Mizzou's staff. So I would say yes, if they get Washington or really any other big at this point, no matter who it is, I still think maybe they are going to try and I still think they'd be wise to try and get someone like Nick Pringle in the fold. I think that's probably got to be it for forwards or just bigger men in general.
Yeah, positionless basketball, just guys that are over 6'10" is what you're calling for there. With Sebastian Mack as well, the Athletic reporter that Mizzou held or will hold a Zoom interview with him. Or not just necessarily interview, but they'll have a Zoom meeting between the 2 parties. And, he's a bigger guard. He's got that size to him, that 200 pounds that you like there, Payton. And even though like seeing a little bit of less time on the court this past year, dropped from 27 minutes to roughly 21 in his second year. Those offensive numbers, like you said, Payton, did go up a little bit, just shooting percentage wise, looked a little bit more improved, but he did drop down from 12.1 points per game to 9.6, just in that bench role. In a perfect world, Payton, I know we've gone over a lot of guys. There's a lot of names, long list of guys, and I don't remember every single one of them off the top of my head. But in a world where you could choose 3 right now, 3 guys that Mizzou has been connected to. I know there's other names out there, but we'll see them, and Mizzou fans will quote tweet it and just say like, Tiger, this is a guy Mizzou wants. But of the guys that have actually been linked to Missouri, can you give me 3 that feel like the perfect match that you want to fill those last roster spots?
Yeah, I mean, of the 3, I think Peterson's got to be one of them. I think Peterson is just all around probably the staff seems to be making him a priority. There's a lot of good high majors in on him, it seems like. So he's definitely one that I think would be in my 3, hands down. I will say this. I kind of still lean towards thinking the big man Missouri is going to end up with is probably maybe not even in the portal at this point. But of the ones linked, it doesn't seem like Davidson from Nevada is going to happen. He's kind of narrowing down his selections, and I don't think Missouri's in it. So I'd probably say I'd still say Nick Pringle and Washington would be kind of a second choice. I wouldn't hate either addition. There's things to like about both, but Pringle has more experience. He was a big contributor on a Final Four team in the SEC, so he's going to get the nod over Washington for me. One guy I don't even think we really talked about him, and this is 100% a pipe dream when you consider some of the visits he set up, is Keyshawn Hall from UCF. He would absolutely be in my 3, but I don't think that's happening. I think he's got like Kansas, like Gonzaga, like a lot of blue bloods after him. So I won't say Keyshawn Hall. I will say Sebastian Mack is going to be my 3rd guy. Like if I had to pick 3 from who they've been connected to, I do like what Sebastian Mack can bring. I think that size is intriguing. the uptick in efficiency is encouraging to me. Maybe he's not a guy that plays like full time, like a starter amount of minutes for Missouri, but in that role, maybe he takes a step up in efficiency again.
Yeah, I think this group that we kind of went over here, and you tossed Nick Pringle into that conversation. I think this is our third episode talking about the transfer portal, so you start to see a lot more names that you're a little bit more interested in, and Mizzou will send out a lot of feelers to a lot of these guys. But when you have a good group like this and ones that Mizzou's making traction with and getting them in those Zoom settings and talking to them and trying to schedule visits with them, I think Mizzou's kind of in that better direction of kind of narrowing down those guys they want. But there's still a lot of time. I mean, you got like 2 or 3 more weeks until this portal closes, and that's just when players can enter it. There's still opportunity to sign guys, get them on campus even after the fact. So there's a lot to work with there. Keyshawn Hall is one I've forgot to bring up here, Payton, but it would be his 4th school in 4 years. He started off at UNLV, went to George Mason and UCF this past year, scoring 18.8 per game with 7 total rebounds and 2 assists per game as a junior guard at 6'7", 235. So yeah, there's a lot of guys coming after that size and just what he kind of did at the Big 12 level and see what he could do anywhere else. Payton, just out of these other ones, Chris Bell, Nick Graves, anyone else, Darian Ford, Jalen Jackson really standing out to you?
Not particularly. I'm not super. Darian Ford, I know at one point, I believe he was like a very highly rated recruit at a high school. Kind of didn't work out for him. The numbers do not really intrigue me coming off and look, they were like Arkansas State. That was a good team the last couple of years there, but still the Sun Belt, and he's not putting up very good numbers. So that would be one I'd kind of that gives me like a little bit of Carolero vibes, where it's like you're kind of looking at middling numbers in a pretty meh conference, and maybe looking for something beneath them. I don't think they should get cute with that. I would pass on Ford. I would probably pass on Jalen Jackson. He kind of the efficiency is really not there. 26% from deep as a 6'2" guard is not going to do it for me personally. I would maybe take Nick Graves is interesting to me. I know a lot of people are also after him. The efficiency is just kind of meh, but 6'3", decent size. He's kind of interesting, but no, none of those other guys really, I think, are going to be at the top of the list for Missouri. Those feel like just Missouri kind of reaches out to see, like one of those recruits that hears from Missouri right when they enter the portal and then never hears from Missouri again.
Yeah. One more note just about Kimari Peterson too. Kyle Smith-Peters wasn't at John A. Logan at the time, but he also has a brother that coaches at John A. Logan, because that's where Mizzou, of course, pulled Kyle Smith-Peters from to be on staff with Mizzou. I mean, anything else, Payton? Anything we missed? Just transfer portal news? Or are you ready for quick hits?
No, I mean, like I said, if it's not, maybe, I mean, Washington did get directly connected to Mizzou. I still kind of think a couple of the guys, maybe just one, maybe it's more. I still think a guy we see on Missouri that Missouri takes out of the portal probably isn't in the portal yet. Like you said, still 30 days. But there are still some intriguing ones. I do think Peterson would be a pretty good ad. Sebastian Mack is pretty intriguing to me. But we'll just have to kind of wait and see, because I don't think the dust is near settled for Missouri just yet.
Before we get to quick hits, I just had one kind of fun story that from Payton and I from our junior year at the University of Missouri. We were at a baseball game, and Dennis Gates walks up the steps, and he was standing there right in front of us of where we were sitting. It, of course, wasn't a great era for Mizzou baseball, so there wasn't many people there, and we were there with a couple buddies, and we talked to him for maybe 5 seconds, just saying hello, what's up. And he was on his phone looking at some transfer, looking at their ESPN page, like how we always have the ESPN pages pulled up. And to this day, I'm kicking myself that we never remembered who the player was. That he was
I know.
reading.
Well, I swear to you, I can picture the stats. I can picture the little bar that has the points, rebounds, and the field goal percentage and everything. But Dennis Gates had scrolled just enough to where I couldn't see who the player was. I really wish I had known. I should have asked him because, I mean, Dennis Gates was very nice. It was like a couple days after he had been introduced as head coach, and I just went, "What's up, coach?" And he turned and like gave us the time of day. So I 100% agree though, Kenny. I wish we could remember who that transfer was.
If I can get the video too, just talking about Dennis Gates being a good guy. When Peyton and I were students that junior year, we went and like I don't know if you played against him, but I got to play basketball against him. And
Yep,
he
blocked.
blocked me so hard that I fell down and he had to catch me from hitting the cement outside the student center. So if I can find that video, I know there's some people have it at KOMU. I will definitely share it, but it is a funny video. I think he tripped me on purpose because he knew I was going to make it. Okay, we're going to jump over to Quick Hits now. We'll see you on the other side. All right, Quick Hits time. Daily Dozen Trivia for Barstool. We'll start it off pretty easy. NFL. After his Bengals run, Andy Dalton was technically the backup for this NFC team in 2020, but ended up starting 9 games.
Cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys. Right. Easy layup.
Easy one. MLB, the National League team, or this National League team had 5 straight Rookie of the Year winners from 1992 to 1996, including Eric Karros and Todd Hollandsworth. I know who it is.
Man, you know the answer here, right?
Yes, the guy, the first name, he's on their broadcast team now.
Right, I recognize Eric Karros' name. I don't recognize Todd Hollandsworth. It's the Dodgers. Wow,
so it's the Dodgers. Eric Karros does work for the Dodgers now, and his son is in the Dodgers system too.
That is remarkable. 5 straight Rookie of the Years.
Yeah, no World Series to show for it during that time too, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. This is college basketball. This 2-time All-American Michigan State guard dropped 20 points and 10 assists in the 2019 Elite Eight to take down Zion Williamson and Duke.
Oh,
Cassius
man.
Winston?
I think it is Cassius Winston. Yeah, that's who I was going to say.
Correct.
Yes.
All
Let's go.
3 for 3 so far. We're going to go to history now. Who was president of the United States when Aaron Burr was vice president?
Oh, shoot.
I think this is like first 3 presidents.
No, I think
it's Thomas Jefferson.
I think you might be right. Yeah,
that would be our Mizzou connection too for Quick Hits if that's the case. Correct.
All right.
Celebrity mashup.
Okay, well that's Alec Baldwin.
That is Alec Baldwin, and I know that face, but I don't know his name.
You misspelled Alec. There you go.
I don't know who the other guy
I don't know who that is. I know that's Alec Baldwin. I don't know who that is.
Grocery products. A cartoon stork is part of this logo of this brand of pickles that was founded in 1942.
Is it Vlasic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Television, consisting of Marty, Wendy, Jonah, Charlotte, and the Bride family. The Bride family was this primary focus of the series that debuted on Netflix in 2016.
I have no idea, but that's
Ozark.
Yeah, because
Bird.
Marty Bird. Mm-hmm. That show is first episode is incredible. The rest of the series is not that good.
Pierce Brosnan's 4th and final starring role as James Bond was this 2002 film that featured Halle Berry and Rosamund Pike.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know it either.
Is it like No Time to Die was like the Daniel Craig one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's more recent.
Gold thing. I don't know, man. No idea.
All right, music. This 2010 Black Eyed Peas hit song, I've Had the Time of My Life from the Dirty Dancing film soundtrack.
Mm-hmm. I know this song.
I don't know the name of it. Wow, I feel bad.
I mean, there's like will.i.am has a part in this song where he goes like, all these girls, they like my swagger. They call in me Mick Jagger. But I don't know the name.
Should we just give up?
I want to know that one. That one I feel like I should get. No, let's just give up. Let's not linger. I can't think of the name, and I'm really ashamed of myself for that.
All right, giving up. We'll go back to the ones we missed. Celebrity mashup for those on the YouTube. It's Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I do see that now. It
Oh,
just
yeah,
does
I
not
never
match
looked
with
at that.
the rest of the face. Movies, Die Another Day for the James
Okay.
Bond movie in 2002. In music, the song is The Time,
The
Dirty
Time.
Bit.
Dirty Bit.
Okay, that's
Interesting.
not bad.
No, I mean,
Six.
we should have gotten the Black Eyed Peas one. That wasn't good.
All right. My Tiger in the Wild this week goes to Mark Mitchell and Max Weisner. I mean, who would have thought this? Peyton, you pointed this out to me earlier today, recording here on Sunday. They're both from the KC area, so I guess that does make sense. Max Weisner, of course, former Missouri tight end, now at Akron, but good buddies with Mark Mitchell.
Yeah, this kind of blew my mind. It was like weird Mizzou lore. It was like the multiverse of Mizzou kind of had a collision, and like these two became best friends. Caught me off guard. I wonder where they were.
Yeah, that might be. I don't know. It's spring break for Mizzou, so maybe Mark is somewhere else, but I don't think that's in Columbia.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like nothing I've seen in Columbia.
Maybe he
Granted,
went to
I was not
Akron.
much of a. I was what?
He went to Akron to see Max.
That would be really nice of him. That's for sure.
All right, Peyton, Tiger in the Wild.
My Tiger in the Wild, and this was pointed out by a friend of the show, Tyler Kading, Levis2XFL on X, if you're interested. He pointed out this. So the Rays, if you don't know, Tropicana got torn apart by the hurricane. I forget what the name of the hurricane was. But they're playing in George Steinbrenner Field this year. The Yankees AAA field, and the first major league game at George Steinbrenner Field, it ended with a Mizzou player in Cameron Meisner hitting a walk-off home run to get a Mizzou pitcher, Pete Fairbanks, the win. So that Tyler Kading pointed that out, so credit to him. It was also the first home run of Cam Meisner's career. And there was some crazy stat about that being like the fourth time, maybe. I don't remember the exact stat. It doesn't happen often that a guy hits his first career home run as a walk-off home run on opening day.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm going to pull that up. A couple of things. It's not the AAA field. It's the single A field of the New York Yankees.
I thought I said spring training field.
Oh, I heard AAA. Okay, well, it is.
Maybe I said that. I can't remember.
It's still like, MLB quality for spring training, but it is kind of funny to see that there's two major league teams this year, and the two that people knock on the most for not spending the most money are playing in minor league baseball parks this year. Meisner made his first major league. He is the first player in MLB history to hit a walk-off homer on opening day for his first career homer.
So he is the first. Okay.
Yep. He also made history as the first rookie to hit a walk-off homer on opening day as a pinch hitter since 1974.
There you go. MIZ.
He also got the ball back. The fan who wanted it just wanted a photo and a signed bat. Pretty simple negotiation. Got to respect that fan getting Cam his baseball.
Better man than me.
What would you have asked for?
Tickets, a jersey, a hat, a photo, more tickets, tickets again.
Okay. All right, Jax, Tiger in the Wild. The UFL season started. Here are the Mizzou Tigers that are currently playing the UFL with the Birmingham Stallions, defensive end DJ Coleman, kicker Harrison Nevis, and running back Larry Roundtree III. Houston Roughnecks. Go Roughnecks. I was a season ticket holder for 2 seasons. Kiki Chisholm, the wide receiver. DC Defenders will have offensive lineman Michael Maietti. If you remember, Michael Maietti once headbutted his quarterback. And Yasir Durant, the defensive line. Michigan Panthers will have Walter Palmore and Tyree Gillespie, the defensive back. The only name I don't know on there, well, you probably know it, Peyton, is Walter Palmore.
I do know Walter Palmore. It's kind of also. Did you say Yasir Durant was a defensive lineman?
I'm sorry, offensive lineman.
Yeah, that's right. Get the 2019 offensive line right. I still love Tristan Colon Castillo. Yeah, Palmore, I knew his name, but like he played at Mizzou before you and I got there in 2019. So it's still kind of incredible he's kicking around. So good for him. I did not know Harrison Nevis was on a team down there. Glad he's still kind of kicking around. But yeah, Larry Roundtree's a fun one for sure. Kiki Chisholm. Never forget the Armed Forces Bowl. Good luck to these guys.
All right, headlines. Another staffer for Mizzou women's basketball. Kelly Harper has hired her third assistant, Liza Fruent. She'll be joining the staff. This was announced on Friday from Mizzou women's basketball. She had a playing career at Missouri State under Harper, so that's kind of a cool, connection there. I was on staff with her for 3 seasons at Tennessee. Anything to add here from you, Payton?
No, I can't remember the exact. When we had Mari on, she had an Illinois assistant as one of her suggestions for head coach. I don't know if it was Fruent.
I don't think it was.
No, it wasn't. Oh, no, it was actually, I believe, because Mari sent us a tweet about this. The one she suggested was, I can't find. She was named the head coach at Incarnate Word, basically. But
yeah,
no, the staff's coming together. That's 3 assistants now. I think they have room for 1 or 2 more. I don't remember. It's in her contract somewhere. But should start seeing some movement in the portal relatively soon, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
All right. Your headline of the week.
My headline, we're just going to quickly touch on this because, we love college basketball and we're getting into the Final Four days. My headlines are both going to come from ESPN. This one comes from Kyle Bonagura. Clayton's late flurry sends 1 seed Florida into the Final Four. Florida literally was about as toast as a team could be. Texas Tech missed some really critical free throws. And unfortunately, Florida did come back and was able to win that one. They're in their first Final Four since 2014. The other result from yesterday, we're recording this on Sunday, by the way, so we don't have all of them. Just know, as Kenny and I are recording this, Houston is just whooping Tennessee. So hopefully that holds up. This one comes from Jeff Borzello. Duke strolls past Alabama, secures Final Four berth. I mean, as soon as Alabama, maybe you disagree with this, Kenny, as soon as Alabama hit a record number of 3-pointers against BYU, kind of figured they were toast in this one. They scored only 65. Duke won by 20. But it is kind of sad to think Missouri was the only team to beat a Final Four team on their home court this year, and they lost to a bunch of D2 players. But that was my main takeaway from the Final Four. Others may think otherwise, but
Payton, I want you to think about this hypothetical world because I do like when you are caused pain. What if Mark Mitchell played against Florida?
Okay, I know this was a big debate. So you're talking the SEC tournament. So Mark Mitchell was almost certainly healthy enough to play that game. I really think I'm not going to say Mizzou was going to win that game because Florida has been about as good as a team can be. They really kind of blew the doors off of pretty much everyone in the SEC tournament. I really do think Missouri was probably the most competitive game in that tournament with Florida. You can argue the Tennessee game, but it never really felt like Tennessee was going to win. And maybe it didn't feel like Missouri was either, especially after the start. But you can't tell me that after Josh Gray fouled out and Missouri has to go small, where Jacob Cruz is the tallest guy on the court and Florida finally just pulls away for good. If Mark Mitchell's out there, I think it's probably at least very close in the final few minutes. I think Missouri probably has a better chance in that one. And if Missouri beat that Florida team that night, I'll be completely honest with you. I think they would have won the SEC. We would have had an SEC title banner up there. The SEC tournament counts as an SEC title in my book. So, thanks, Kenny. That's great that you asked me that. I think there's a good chance Missouri would have won the SEC if Mark Mitchell played. And
there was probably an opportunity for Mizzou to never play Drake.
Yeah, there sure was, Kenny.
All right, Jack's headline. Sorry, Payton, just really wanted to hear your thoughts on that. Jack texted me, and he wanted you to read this one, and he wanted you to talk about it.
Okay. Maryland's Kevin Willard hired as Villanova head coach. I mean, this had been brewing for a while. Kevin Willard, it started with kind of these interesting comments after SMU hired Maryland's athletic director to be their athletic director. And Kevin Willard was like making comments about how Maryland had to leave where they played their first round games early, like a day earlier than they wanted because it would have cost more money to stay. And then he was like, it's kind of hard to negotiate for more resources when you don't have a boss currently. He got asked about like his job status like before the Florida game, and he just talked about Walter Clayton. This was like an open, like the least, like it was happening. Like he was going to Villanova. It was just a very, very ugly exit. It's kind of going to be interesting to see what Maryland is next year. They kind of got to get a coach in there quick, see how much of that team they can retain. But good hire for Villanova just from the standpoint of Willard is a good head coach. But it was kind of a icky exit, kind of rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I don't think Willard handled it as well as he could have. But that's just the world of coaching nowadays.
I think the primary reason he wanted you to talk about this too is who is on deck for Maryland now. I
have no idea. Is there an expected candidate?
There was someone getting involved for multiple reports.
I haven't seen anybody.
Buzz.
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot about that. A lot of people have pointed out that Buzz would maybe be a connection there. I have no idea why he'd leave A&M for Maryland unless Maryland is really willing to offer him a truckload more than A&M is, which again, that's hard for me to imagine. Needless to say, I would not be shedding many tears if Buzz Williams is not in the SEC anymore. He is a really good coach, I will admit, but the style of play A&M has disgusts me. It's not basketball. It's just boards and free throws, and that sucks. I hate it. So Buzz Williams, please take the Maryland job. I kind of forgot all about that. There have been a couple people that have been pretty accurate with that type of stuff in the past, talking about how Buzz would maybe be interested in that job.
Big Ten, ACC or SEC challenge soon. Maryland with Buzz against Dennis and Mizzou. I think that would mean everything to you, Payton. Before we get out of here, do you have a joke for us?
I sure do, Kenny. This one comes from our favorite TV series, The Today Show. Kenny, I had a date last night. It was perfect. Tomorrow, I'll have a grape.
That's a good one. I do like that. I thought it was going to be something food related.
Nope.
With the date.
Well, it was, but
yeah. Well, yeah, after you said date. That's going to do it for this episode of The Unwritten Rule. Next Friday, maybe a 3-man. Maybe we'll have Jack back for that one. It does look like it's trending that way. But until then, we'll keep our eyes out for all the latest transfer news, anything else going on in the football world as the guys get back from spring break. But until then, we will see you next time on The Unwritten Rule. Have a great weekend or a great week.